Let's get started. Throughput accounting. Now, throughput accounting is basically one of the most important chapters for F5. It is a modern technique to deal with limiting factors. Now, what is a limiting factor? First, we need to identify this. Limiting factor or bottleneck or binding constraint is any factor which limits the organization's activities. For example, labor hours, for example, demand itself. Let's say that our factory has a machine whose capacity is to produce 1,000 units, but the demand is for 800 units. Okay. So in that case, we have to produce only 800 units. Why? Because there is a constraint of the demand itself. If we produce complete 1,000 units, there would be a wastage of 200 units. But when you will see most of the questions in the past papers, they do not mention demand as a constraint. They mention labor hours or machine hours as a constraint. Moving on, the old technique of dealing with limiting factors was marginal costing. I guess you all would remember marginal costing from your F2 studies. Now, there is a 5-step approach to compute both marginal costing and throughput accounting. What is the 5-step approach? The first step in both the cases is to identify limiting factor. We need to first check where does the limiting factor occur. Whether is it labor hours or is it machine hours or is it demand itself, we need to check that first. How will we check? That would be discussed in the question later on. Second step is to calculate contribution per unit for marginal costing, whereas for throughput accounting, it is to calculate throughput per unit. Third step is to calculate contribution per limiting factor, and for throughput calculate throughput per limiting factor. And then for both the methods, that is marginal costing and throughput accounting, the fourth and fifth step are the same, that is to rank products and make optimal plan. Now, while we take marginal costing, the optimal plan would be different from throughput accounting. Please stop your video. I am not taking videos. Now, in order to calculate the contribution, we need to use the formula selling price less materials plus labor plus variable overheads, because marginal costing says that every variable cost needs to be deducted from the selling price in order to compute contribution. However, throughput accounting says that we can compute contribution with a new method. How? It says that we need to assume that all variable costs are now fixed except for material cost. So we will compute throughput using selling price less material cost. Now, why does throughput assume that all other variable costs are fixed? The main reason is that nowadays, if you look at most of the companies, their labor is not paid hourly, or their labor is not paid using the piece rate. Most of the companies nowadays have salary based labor, and when they have a salary based labor, that cost that cost of the salary is basically fixed for the company. Why? Because every month they have to give, let's say, $1,000 to an employee, or let's say $500 to an employee. Okay, so that is a fixed cost for the company because the patterns have changed over the time. Previously, yes, when we were employing labor on hourly basis or on piece rate basis, then the things were different. In that case, our labor was um, actually a variable cost. Okay. On the other hand, variable overheads nowadays, even though they are variable in nature, but we consider them fixed. Why? Because they make a big chunk of our spending, right? For example, electricity bill, we always consider while budgeting. Even if you check your household expenses, the elders in your family take out a budgeted cost and keep that separate from your savings, your household savings, while computing the electricity bill. Why? Because electricity bill is has a significant or a material amount in our household expenses. Because without electricity nowadays, nothing is possible, right? So we believe that it has become a fixed cost for us, even though it is variable in nature, but its importance is so much for us that it has been considered as a fixed cost. Okay. Moving on, how would we compute profit under marginal? Contribution less fixed cost is equals to profit. I guess you all might be able to recall it from your F2 studies. However, in case of throughput, we subtract general fixed cost, that is this fixed cost, from throughput. That would be mentioned in the question, which of them is the general fixed cost, and we deduct the other fixed cost. Now, what are the other fixed costs? The other fixed cost is made up of labor plus variable overheads that we assumed while calculating the throughput to be fixed. Okay, and once we deduct both of them, we compute profit. Now here's a question. The question says there are three products: S 39,000 units, D 44,000 units, and E 42,000 units. This is the demand for the units, for the products. Moving on, the selling price, the labor cost, the material cost per unit, and the variable overheads per unit has been mentioned for each of the products. For S, D, and E, the selling price was 300. Just a minute. I'll write the selling price for D and E. The labor cost per unit was 60, 75, and 50. And the material cost was 120, 100, and 110. Variable overheads per unit were 30, 5, and 15. The selling price is 300, 290, and 275. Moving on, the question says each unit of S takes 4 hours to complete, while each unit of D is completed in 4.5 hours. E takes 3 hours to complete. And the last line says there are only 4 lakh labor hours available. Now, this shall trigger us that this statement might be important for us, right? Because nothing as such has been mentioned in the question above, except for this, that could give us a hint that there is a bottleneck resource available. Then it says the fixed costs are 7 million. This is our general fixed cost. Requirement is to compute optimal plan and profit using marginal costing and throughput accounting. And the second requirement is to compute throughput accounting ratio for each product. I am presenting the solution and then I'll explain it to you. Now the first step is to identify limiting factor. And how would we do that? We know that S takes 4 hours per unit and the demand for S is 39,000 units. That would consume 156,000 hours. Then we have 4.5 hours per unit for D and 44,000 units are to be made. So the total hours required in order to complete the units as per the demand shall be 480,000 hours. However, the hours available are only 4 lakh, which shows that a limiting factor or a bottleneck resource or a binding constraint exists. Second step was to compute contribution per unit. I'll refer back to the question in a minute. The selling price is 300. The labor cost is 60. Material cost per unit is 120 and variable overhead per unit is 30, which means the contribution shall be 90 in this case, 110 in this case, and 100 for E. Copying it down, 90, 110 and 100. Contribution per limiting factor. We already know that the limiting factor is the labor hours, and we know the labor hours that are being used per unit. For S, it was 4, so we'll divide 90 by 4. For D, it was 4.5, we'll divide 110 by 4.5. And for E, it was 3, so we'll divide 100 by 3. And that would give us $22.5, $24.4, and $33.3. Now we need to rank the product. How will we rank the products? You know that the marginal costing used to say that the higher the contribution, the higher the chances to make the profit, right? So we'll rank the product with the highest contribution per limiting factor as first, then D as second, and S as third. Moving on, now we need to make the optimal plan. I'm switching off the videos. So moving on, we have to make the optimal plan. First rank was given to E, second was given to D, and third was given to S. So for E, 3 hours per unit into 42,000 units, that would consume complete 126,000 hours. For D, 4.5 hours per unit was the amount of hours, and 44,000 units was the demand. So 198,000 hours shall be consumed. Now for S, we know that a limiting factor or a bottleneck resource exists, that is the labor hours, that are total to 4 lakh hours. And we have already consumed 198 and 126,000 hours. Now we shall subtract the amount of hours consumed from the amount of hours available. That would give us 76,000 hours. We shall copy it over here. 76,000 hours are only left for us to make S. And we know that each unit of S consumes 4 hours. So what we need to do is we need to divide 76,000 by 4 to compute the amount of units that we'll be able to make for S. So the optimal plan is to make 19,000 units of S, 44,000 units of D, and 42,000 units of E. Now we need to compute the throughput, but before that we have to compute the total profit at optimal plan for marginal costing. We compute the total contribution on the optimal plan, and then we'll subtract fixed cost and compute profit. This is our total profit in case of marginal costing. Now we'll compute the optimal plan using the throughput approach. the method to compute the limiting factor, that is to identify the limiting factor, is same as done in marginal costing, so I'm not performing that again. I am moving on to the part where we need to compute throughput per unit. Throughput was 180, 190 and 165. How would we compute throughput? By simply subtracting selling price from material cost. Moving on, throughput per limiting factor. We already know what the limiting factor per unit is. That is 4 for S, 4.5 for D, and 3 for E. We divide the throughput by the limiting factors, and then we have to rank the products. Previously told that marginal costing used to consider that the higher the contribution, higher the chances to earn profit. Similarly, throughput also considers the same thing, that is, higher the throughput, higher the chance to earn profits. So we would rank E as the first one, D as the third one, and S as the second one. Moving on, now we need to make the optimal plan. Was the first one, S was ranked as second, and D was ranked as third. So for E, complete 42,000 units shall be made. And how many hours shall be consumed? That we need to calculate. 3 hours per unit was mentioned in the question, which gives us 126,000 hours. For S, the demand was to produce 39,000 units at 4 hours per unit, which gives us 156,000 hours. And for D, we need to compute how many hours will be required and how many units shall be made. But we know that 4.5 hours per unit is required for D, and we know that the available hours are 4 lakh. So subtracting 4 lakh from 156,000 and 126,000 gives us 118,000 hours. And we already know that D takes 4.5 hours per unit. So 118,000 divided by 4.5 hours shall give us 26,222 units. So the optimal plan is to produce 2,000 units of E, 39,000 units of S, and 2622 units of D. Next, we have to compute total profit under we'll compute total throughput for each of the products, then we will compute the total throughput for the company, subtract the general fixed cost, then subtract the other fixed cost or the assumed fixed cost, and then compute the profit. So the throughput for S was 180 per unit, for D it was $190 per unit, and for E it was 165 per unit. And we made 39,000 units of S, 26,222 units of D, and 42,000 units of E. Total throughput is 189,32180. General fixed cost was mentioned in the question as 7 million, and other fixed cost was mentioned as 7,960,000. Total throughput is, total profit is 3972180. You guys must be confused about how did I compute the other fixed cost. The other fixed cost was computed using the marginal units. Why the marginal units? And how did I compute the other fixed cost? The other fixed cost was and variable overheads rate for each product into the units of marginal costing. Why? Because throughput considers that all other costs except material cost is fixed, which means that it considers labor and variable overhead as fixed. And I am solving it in front of you. For S, the labor cost per unit was 60 and the variable overhead was 30, which means 90 into the units used in marginal costing was 19,000 per D, 75 plus 5, and the units were 44,000. And for E, it was 50 plus 15, and the units were 42,000. Now the question is that why did we compute the other fixed cost using the marginal units and not the demand or not the throughput units? The reason is that the limiting factor exists. So we can either produce the units using the throughput accounting method, or we can use the units or we can produce the units using marginal costing approach. Now we had already computed the cost of labor and variable overheads using the marginal costing method. So the throughput accounting considers that once the cost has been computed, it is fixed. It is not variable. So we will take the cost under the marginal costing units only. If we were considering that the cost was variable, then we would have changed the units into throughput accounting units. But because the cost has already been computed using the marginal costing units, because in marginal costing, we did compute this cost, but in a different way, because we were computing it using the total contributions. So it was included in that only, right? Over here, our total profit under throughput has been computed. Now, moving on to the throughput accounting ratio. What is the throughput accounting ratio? It is an indicator, TPAR, used to check whether it is feasible to produce a product or not. This ratio tells us whether we should produce, let's say, S, or we should produce D, or we should produce E or not. How do we compute it? Using throughput per hour divided by cost per hour. Now, how is cost per hour computed? Using general fixed overheads or general fixed cost plus assumed fixed cost divided by available hours. Also, the throughput per hour has a different name as well, that is return per hour, and general fixed overheads has another name, that is other factory costs, and assumed fixed costs has another name called conversion costs. Now, how will we know that a product should be made or it should not be made? If TPAR, that is throughput accounting ratio, is greater than 1, then we'll make the product. But if it is less than 1, we would not make the product. Let's compute the TPAR for this question. Throughput per hour has already been calculated in step 3 while we were computing the optimal plan. I'll write it down. It was 45 for S, 42.2 for D, and 55 for E. The cost per hour needs to be calculated. The answer is 37.4. I'll show the working of how it was computed. The general fixed costs were 7 million for this question, and the assumed fixed cost was 796,000. And the available hours were 4 lakh. So this gives us cost per hour of 37.4, and the throughput accounting ratio is 1.203 for S, 1.128 for D, and 1.47 for E. Preference shall be given to E. Then we would prefer to make S, and then we would prefer to make D. Reason being that E has the highest throughput accounting ratio, S stands at the second position, and D stands at the last position. Over here, our chapter has ended.